الثالث أن يقع ذلك في الحكم. The third is that occurs in the hukm itself. وهذا هو البدعة. So now he's going to talk about bid'ah. So the problem arises in the legal ruling itself. And this is what innovation is. لأن البدعة اعتقاد ما ليس بقربة قربة. A bid'ah, and this is the definition, people, so get it now. An innovation, a bid'ah, is the belief that something is a devotional practice that's not. So you think that you're doing something that draws you near to Allah and it doesn't. Or اعتقاد نفي القربة عما هو قربة, or to believe that something is not a devotional practice that is indeed a devotional practice. أو إعطاء الحكم لما ليس له شرعا وهو أخص, or to give something the ruling that is not for it by the Sharia in sacred law, and this is a more specific type situation. وأقسامه ثلاثة. There are three types of bid'ah. أولها البدعة الصريحة. The first is a clear, explicit, unambiguous, unequivocal innovation. بدعة صريحة. وهي التي تقابل سنة صحيحة. And this is vis-a-vis a sound sunnah. It's in contradistinction to a sound sunnah. من غير قيام شبهة مقابلة ولا حجة ناقرة حاملة. And there is no shubha muqabila, there's not even a doubtful element. So this is sariha, because if you have a shubha, then there might be some khilaf, something like that. There's no shubha muqabila, wala hujja naqila hamila, nor is there any proof that has been transmitted and can carry the hukm. كالإكثار من صب الماء في الوضوء, like using a lot of water in your wudu. Bid'ah sariha. Now, so when you turn on the Hanafiya and you start doing your thing, you wasted a lot of water. Is that a bid'ah? This is a test. Is that a bid'ah? Some people saying yes, some people saying no. So, who wants to risk it? According to what he just told us, is that a bid'ah? Think about it. Aywa khalas. Asabti. If you think it's a qurba, it becomes a bid'ah. If you don't believe it's a qurba, you just happen to be doing it, it's an jahlin or an sahwin. So it's makruh. If you think it's a bid'ah, if you think it's a qurba, it's muharrama. Because it's bid'ah sariha, because there's a sunnah muqabila that says taqleel al-ma ma'a al-itqan. That's called isbagh al-wudu. To do wudu well is, the definition of wudu that is done well is taqleel al-ma'i ma'a al-itqan. Using the least amount of water with the best itqan, that you've done it with excellence. So you've made sure you've covered everything. That's proper wudu. So if I say, oh, it's good to use a lot of water, and I believe that Allah loves that, khalas, bid'ah sariha. That is a clear innovation. If I just happen to be using the Hanafiya, I'm not thinking about it. If somebody says, do you think that's a good thing to do? No. It's just that's how it's coming out. Whatever. That's not a bid'ah. So understand the difference. It's really important. Now, مَعْتِقَادِ نَدْبِهِ. So it has to be on the condition that you believe it's recommended. أو التعمق في التدلك ونحوه. Or doing too much tadalluk. You see people that, really rubbing, and that's a bid'ah. It's not wudu, it's something else. Religious neuroses, they call that. إلى غير ذلك مما يذكر. He can go on and on and on, right? Because Muslims do all this stuff. إن شاء الله منه جملة وينبه على ما فيه من خطرة. So he's just using that to give you some examples. He said, now the second, so there's your bid'ah sariha. That's the one we don't want anything to do with, because that's the really dangerous one. There's two other types. Al-bid'ah al-idafiyya. Al-bid'ah al-idafiyya. This is a bid'ah that is mudaf. It's been added to the religion. It wasn't amongst the salaf. It's not sariha, it's idafiyya. وهي التي تحولها الأحوال والنية. This is the thing that circumstances affected, and also the intention. كَتَبَرُّكِ بِالْآثَارِ, like taking blessings from relics, religious relics. وَالِاجْتِمَاعِ لِلدَّعَوَاتِ وَالْأَذْكَارِ, and gathering for public prayer, dua meaning supplication in congregation, that's a bid'ah. And also adhkar, doing dhikr in groups. Those are bid'ah. Now they're not bid'ah sariha, they're bid'ah idafiyah. The reason they're not bid'ah sariha is, for instance, even though the Salaf did not do that, there are hadiths that support the action. For instance, there's a hadith, it's a sahih hadith, that's a hadith Qudsi, in which the Prophet ﷺ said that Allah has, inna lillahi malaikatan sayyara. Allah has malaika that travel around. يَلْتَمِسُونَ حِلَقَ الذِّكْر. They're looking for circles of dhikr. It's a sound hadith. When they come upon them, يَنزِلُونَ, they're flying over the earth. When they look down on the earth, like we see stars in the heaven, they see lights, not the artificial lights of cities. They see the lights of dhikr. That's how they recognize it. So they'll see a house that's illuminated, spiritual light, not General Electric. Spiritual light. And they'll go to that place. The sakina comes in those places. They bring sakina. And the rahmah comes with them. Now when they return to the Divine Presence, Allah says to them, يَسْأَلُهُمْ وَهُوَ أَعْلَمُ بِهِمْ. And He knows. This is to teach us, and it's because Allah has created a world of means. Allah knows. He doesn't need any mukhabarat or any, like the tyrants of this world, they need all these secret police and things. Allah doesn't need any of that. He knows everything, but He uses asbab. So He asked them, what did you find my slaves? We found them يُسَبِّحُونَكَ وَيُهَلِّلُونَكَ وَيَحْمَدُونَكَ. They were saying Subhanallah, they were saying La ilaha illallah, they were saying Alhamdulillah. They were doing it in a circle. Now obviously there's some khilaf about were they doing it in one voice or were they doing it separately. So the Naqshbandis tend to take it that they do it separately. Right? So there are certain scholars that would say it's better to do it separately than do it from one voice. طيب. But لا ينافي الآخر. It doesn't neglect the other one or reject it. The same is true for the Quran. ما اجتمع قوم صحيح مسلم ما اجتمع قوم في بيت من بيوت الله يتلون كتاب الله ويتدارسونه. No group of people comes together in a house from the houses of Allah reciting the Quran together and studying it amongst each other except إلا نزلت بهم الملائكة. The angels come to that place. وحفتهم من الملائكة ونزلت عنهم السكينة وغشيتهم الرحمة. The angels come, sakina comes, mercy comes. So for that reason, Sidi Abdullah wa Hajj Ibrahim, he said, الذكر الجمع للذكر والقرآن جرى به العمل في البلدان. He says in his fatwa, gathering for dhikr and for the Quran is the amal of the Muslims in all the cities of Islam. And then he said, وَنَصُّهُ صَرِيحٌ رَدَّ الْمُنْكِرَ وَالْعُذْرُ لِخَفَائِهِ قَدْ ظَهَرَ. And the excuse for him who rejects it, we accept his excuse because of the subtlety of the proof. It's not a sarih because the Sahaba didn't do it. Because some of the ulama did reject it, like Ibn al-Hajj. Ibn al-Hajj was a great Maliki faqih, he was a Sufi, he was a great scholar, but he rejected dhikr in groups. And that's a valid opinion. So if you take that opinion, that's fine, you don't do it, but you don't condemn others for doing it, because it's a bid'ah idafiyah, it's not a bid'ah sariha. And then also there's another thing in our usul which is called masalat tark. The Malikis tend to be more strict about this than the Hanafis and the Shafi'is. But in usul, the fact that the Salaf did not do it is not a proof that it's haram. Now some people will say, ibadah is tawqifiyah. That you can't do anything in worship that has not come from the Prophet. Dhikr has come from the Prophet ﷺ. The khilaf would be whether you can gather for it. Now, there is gathering for dhikr in the deen, there's no doubt. The prayer, people gather for it. The hadith indicates that gathering to recite the Quran is acceptable. The Prophet ﷺ in Sahih Muslim, and he actually told people to do inshad of shi'r in his presence. In one riwayah, one man came with lines of poetry and he said, give us some more. The Prophet ﷺ, when Bani Arfida, they were Habashis that came into the masjid, It's in the Sahih. They were dancing with the spears and they were singing in Habashiyah, Muhammadun Abdun Tayyib. That's what they were saying. Muhammad is a pure servant of Allah. That's what they were saying. And he said, Dunakum. Then he encouraged them. Shajja'ahum. Let's see some. There are many, many examples. The fuqaha have brought these things out. And that's why these things are dead issues. And the problem with the modern Muslims, and Muslims in the past as well, is that you're just dealing with people that have problems. And I guarantee you, most of the personalities that go around causing all this, there's similar characters in the Jewish religion doing the same thing to the Jews, and in the Christian religion doing the same thing to the Christians. I'm not joking. There really are. These are archetypal forms. And you find them in other religions. I mean, you've got finger waggers in every tradition, I guarantee you. Because I went to church, I remember them really clearly when I was a Christian. Can't do that. It's a character, it's a certain type of personality. And it's not the spirit of the Prophet ﷺ. He was very gentle with people. If indeed people are doing things wrong, the point is not to wag fingers at them. And the sad thing about it is you can find hadiths about being towards the fasiq, and that's what they do. They look at all the hadiths that have to do with shiddah. The Prophet ﷺ, a man came to the Prophet ﷺ and he said, Assalamu alaikum, walam yurud alayhi as-salam. He didn't give him the salam back. And the man was very upset. He went to some of the Sahaba and he said, I said salam to the Prophet, he didn't give me salam. He said, لَعْلَكَ تَمْلِكُ خَاتِمًا مِّن ذَهَبٍ. Maybe you have a ring from gold on you. And he indeed had one. And then he took it off, went back, and the Prophet ﷺ greeted him with salam. They'll use those hadiths to justify. And those hadiths are very particular hadiths. The point is, it takes a long time to get to the point where you can really understand all of these hadiths in their proper context. That's what hikmah is. That's what hikmah is. And it takes a long time. So what do you do in the meantime? I mean, this is a question. It's a real question. What do you do in the meantime? In the meantime, the first thing, عَلَيْكُمْ أَنفُسُكُمْ. You have to take care of your souls. Really, you really do. I mean, we have to rectify our souls and we have to learn this. And then, khalas, if we make mistakes, but there's some basic things that you need to know. And this is certainly useful. So, the third type is البدعة الخلافية وهي باعتبار الملاحظات الأصلية فكل إمام فاهم من الشريعة أصلا بنى عليه. The third type are bid'ah that are as a result of the differences of opinion amongst the imams, and these are under the rubric of the original insights of the imams in the proofs. So every imam understood something from the sacred law as a principle, a foundation that he built upon. وَنَسَبَ الْحُكْمَ الَّذِي يَقْتَفِيهِ إِلَيْهِ. And he attributed the sacred ruling that he derived or arrived at through his ijtihad, obviously, to that principle that he was following. فَلِذَلِكَ تَجِدُ أَحَدَهُمْ رُبَّمَا قَالَ بِسُنِّيَّةِ مَا قَالَ صَاحِبُهُ بِابْتِدَاعِهِ. So he says that something is sunnah, and his companion, another scholar, says it's not sunnah at all, it's a bid'ah. Like Imam Malik, in his madhab, it's a bid'ah, makruha, for the imam to say a dua after the prayer. That's bid'ah makruha in the Maliki madhab. In the Hanafi madhab, it's manduba. وَالْمُخْتَلِفْ فِيهِ لَا يُنْكَرُ. If it's agreed upon that something's a bid'ah, all the imams are in agreement, you can do all the inkar if you want and tell people, and it's better to be nice, but you can even be harsh if you want to. Alright, it's always better to be nice. But you can even be harsh if you have real ghairah for the deen. Sayyidina Umar, if he saw something, he was harsh. But if it's mukhtalif fihi, leave the poor man alone. Really, leave him alone. He might not know the dalil. And that's a blameworthy state. There's no doubt. It's blameworthy. It's always better to know what you're doing, to base it on knowledge. But you have to know, indeed, that it's a bid'ah mujma' ala tahrimiha. Even bid'ah makruha is something that you're supposed to do it with lutf, because technically he's not doing something that causes any punishment. He'll get a reward for leaving. And you can tell him, Ya akhi, it's not sunnah. Like in Maliki madhab, it's a bid'ah to shake hands after the prayer. I mean, most of the Malikis don't follow these things anymore. But it really is. I mean, the Maghribis, khalas, they all do dua, the Imam does dua, everybody does dua. Ibn Abi Jamra in Andalusia, he refused to do dua. But the urf in Andalusia was to do dua after the prayer. He refused because he said it was a bid'ah. But it's bid'ah khilafiyah. Had he been in Sham, he wouldn't have rejected the Hanafis who made dua because he was a faqih. So if they're Malikis, yes, you can tell them, that's a bid'ah according to our Imam. Tayyib. The person can say, I know, but, the mutaakhirun tasahharu fi hadha al-amr. So then he said, now please, listen to this next part and really understand it, because this is very helpful. وَلَيْسَ أَحَدُهُمَا بِمُبْتَدِعٍ. Neither of them are mubtadi'. So one says this is a bid'ah, the other says it's a sunnah, and this actually occurs. Imam Malik radiallahu anhu said to do your siwak in the prayer line is a bid'ah makruha. Some of the other imams said it's a sunnah. Neither of them are mubtadi'. These are their understandings. So, لِتَمَسُّكِهِ بِالْحَقِّ وَاتِّبَاعِهِ. He's only clinging to what he understands the truth to be. And this is the beauty of our teaching, wallahi. This is the beauty of Islam. This is one of the greatest things that we should be proud of. That our ummah realized that truth is filtered through human understanding. And nobody, with the exception of prophets, have a monopoly on truth. Truth is filtered through human understanding. It's really important to understand. The only person that is ma'soom is the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Now listen to what he says. وَلَوْ قِيلَ بِذَلِكَ لَلَزِمَ تَبْدِيعُ كَافَّةَ الْأَئِمَّةِ. And in a nuskha, كَافَّةَ الْأُمَّةِ. If we indeed said that one of them was a mubtadi', then it means all of the imams are mubtadi'. We'd have to say all of the imams are mubtadi'un. We'd have to say the whole ummah is mubtadi'ah. And there are some people that want to do that. Really. وَهُوَ ضَلَالٌ وَخَبَالٌ وَظُلْمًا. It's error, darkness, and stupidity. ولكن التقوى في هذا الوجه تجري بحسب الأشخاص وعلى قدر ما هم به من كمال علم وانتقاص. He says taqwa here, in this aspect that he's speaking about, is in accordance with the states of people. And based upon the perfectedness of their knowledge, and also of the deficiencies of their knowledge. So this is going to be dependent on different people. Not everybody will be the same in this. Some people are at a high maqam. For instance, Murabt al-Hajj, just to give you an example. He has absolute adherence to the Sunnah. And that's his maqam. But he doesn't make rejection of other people that do things. For instance, they used to do group dhikr amongst his tribe. When he became the sheikh of that tribe, he stopped it all. If you ask him, what's the hukum of group dhikr? Mubah. He doesn't say it's haram. He doesn't even say it's a bid'ah makruha. He says it's permissible. وَقَدْ يُنْدَبْ. Maybe it's recommended for certain people. He doesn't do it. Why? Because he follows the Maliki madhab in tark. If the Salaf, that first community, didn't do something, he doesn't do it. And that's his maqam. You can't apply that maqam to everybody. That's his maqam. So it's just, people are different. They're at different levels, and you can't apply the same levels to everybody. The Sahaba, one of the things about coming together to remember Allah, to read the Quran, is it's a support system. It's a group support. In Morocco, they do the Hizb of Quran after every prayer. After Maghrib and Fajr. Every month, according to the lunar month. So if they're in the 16th Jews, they know it's the 16th day of the month, the lunar month. Because they do it every year. They do 12 khatma every year. In every single mosque in Morocco that has a major, they do that. In Morocco, the Quran, there's khatam of Quran hundreds of thousands of times a year. Now, that was a bid'ah that the Muwahidun started. Ibn al-Hajj condemned it. And he was a Fasi, al-Abdari, al-Maliki. He's a great faqih. He said it's a bid'ah and it's better tarkwa. Now there's a lot of people who say that. But the truth is, millions of Moroccans, millions, have memorized the Quran from that sunnah since the Muwahhideen started it. Millions. And I know personally several people that that's how they memorized the Quran. Because they did mudawama every single day, twice a day, till they got to the point where they could do it without looking at the mushaf after like 10 years. That's the way they memorized Quran. So given the fact that it's a bid'ah idafiyah, and there is a dalil for it in the hadith, مجتمع قوم في بيت من بيوت الله يتلون كتاب الله. That's a dalil for it. So that's what he's saying. People are different. Be aware of that.